Minister of Education gives update on the issue of the payment of subsidies to the school boards. Minister of Finance confirms that St. Martin will receive the 19.3 million guilders on Friday. And General Secretary of WICSU PSU addresses a number of critical updates that transpired within the past few weeks. Those are the headlines for Wednesday, August the 5th, 2020. Good evening, everyone. This is SXM Daily News, and I am Valerie from Pritton. And as usual, we have a packed newscast for you this evening, so let's get started. In our first story, General Secretary of the WICSU PSU, Reichnal Bakari Arundel, held a press conference earlier today to address the cost-cutting measures that St. Martin has to implement to receive the additional payroll support program. The General Secretary thought it pertinent to address a number of critical updates that transpired within the past few weeks.
The purpose of today's meeting, as I said earlier, is to provide you with a number of critical updates that has transpired within the past few weeks. Now, on the 27th of July, the members comprising the CCSU received a letter from the government of St. Martin, right, with regards to the cost-cutting measures. In this letter, the Honorable Minister reminded the unions that the government of St. Martin is required to reduce its employment benefits of civil servants by 12.5%. It also went on to state that at this particular phase, it is not a matter of whether these measures are necessary, but rather how the measures can be implemented. According to the Honorable Minister, the cost-cutting measures found in the concept agreement were discussed with the members of the CCSU, or the WICSU PSU Union and the Y2, or Teachers Union. The letter points out that government and the CCSU will need to negotiate on the terms and conditions of the contents of the concept agreement in a work group setting. Furthermore, the CCSU was asked to submit the names of 2 candidates who will be negotiating on its behalf. The government, in turn, informed that it has appointed the Secretary General of the Ministry of General Affairs to chair the work group. Given government's precarious financial position, it hopes that the negotiations can commence as quickly as possible and that an agreement can be signed on August 7th. Now, the draft concept agreement contains 4 cost-cutting measures, and these include the vacation allowance, salary increments, gratification including bonuses, and overtime. Now, according to the document, this should result in savings of 14 million guilders a year. Besides that, the cost-cutting measures will go into effect from July 1st, 2020 until the 1st of July, 2021. Now, we're going to dig a little deeper into the content of each particular measure and discuss how government envisions how they are going to be implemented. Let's start off with the vacation allowance. According to the document, the vacation allowance would roll out as follows. That which was built up over the period of the 1st of June 2019 to the 1st of June 2020 will be paid at 50%. The remaining 50% will be paid in 2021. But here's the catch. The vacation allowance will not be built up from the 1st of June 2020 to the 1st of June 2021. The 2022 vacation allowance will be paid with an additional 25% of what was withheld from 2020 and 2021. So long as the financial position of government allows. Interestingly enough, a few of our members reported that they have seen on their salary slip deductions from June and July for the vacation allowance has been made. Besides that, we wonder where will the money come from in order to pay the additional 25%, since no vacation allowance will be built up, right, between the period 2020 and 2021.
And we will have more with the General Secretary of WICSU PSU in tomorrow's broadcast of SXM Daily News. And in news now out of The Hague, St. Martin will shortly receive the 19.3 million guilders from the Netherlands for the payroll support program for the month of June, Dutch Undersecretary of Home Affairs and Kingdom Relations Raymond Knops announced on Tuesday. Knops confirmed in a letter to the Dutch Parliament that he had decided to go over to the issuing of the second partial payment regarding the second tranche liquidity support for an amount of 19.3 million guilders to help St. Martin in covering the June business payroll support program. The amount, which is being paid based on the positive advice of the Committee for Financial Supervision, CFT, is part of the total interest-free loan for the second tranche of 43.3 million guilders, or 21.65 million euros. The first partial payment of the second tranche amounted to 24 million guilders. It was agreed in May that the second tranche for Country St. Martin would, once it confirmed to the conditions, it would be paid in two parts. The first part was immediately issued as a loan, while the funding for the second part, specifically for the payroll support program, would only be transferred after St. Martin had complied with two specific conditions regarding this program, which is part of the St. Martin Stimulus Plan, the SSRP. The St. Martin government had to ensure a 20% contribution of the employees of the companies that receive payroll support and make an adaptation to the payroll support subsidy model, whereby the percentage of receivable subsidy matches the company's turnover loss percentage to avoid discrepancies. The CFT advised the State Secretary on July the 21st that St. Martin had retroactively, per June 1st, given adequate content to the condition for the employee's contribution and the one-on-one percentage match with the turnover loss in the payroll support program for entrepreneurs. Knops clarified that St. Martin receives liquidity support for the period in which the country complies with the conditions. The payroll support regulation for the month of June went into effect on July the 16th, 2020, retroactively until June 1st, 2020. And as such, the Dutch liquidity support amounts to 19.3 million guilders, covering the period May 15th up to and including June. The third tranche of Dutch liquidity support is still being negotiated between The Hague and the individual Dutch Caribbean countries. The Dutch government has tied many conditions, including the establishing of a Caribbean reform entity and far-reaching austerity measures, to the liquidity support. And in more news for you at this time, Minister of Finance, the Honorable Artwell Irion, confirmed to members of the media this morning that the 19.3 million guilders that the Netherlands has agreed to for St. Martin to receive for the payroll support program will be released on Friday. The minister, speaking at the Council of Ministers' virtual weekly press briefing, gave an update.
I'd first like to update you on the SSRP. As some of you already have seen, that State Secretary Knops has informed the public that he has will be releasing the 19.3 million guilders because we have met all the conditions for the SSRP. Hopefully, we will be getting these funds by Friday. In addition to that, the portal for the payroll support was opened last week Friday and will close on August 14th. Because of the changes due to the conditions set by the Netherlands, we have started a campaign on informing the business community on the changes. We have a first session on Monday was a workshop. It was well attended. Yesterday we had our info session, and we will continue to do radio interviews in the next couple of days, informing the business community on the process of the SRP and payroll support based on the new conditions. We had very good feedback yesterday, and we will continue to do this.
And still to come, Prime Minister explains the difficulty with the border situation. We'll have the details to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Welcome back, viewers. This is SXM Daily News. I am Valerie from Putin. And as we continue now with more news for you at this time, Prime Minister of St. Martin, the Honorable Sylvia Jacobs, has sent a letter to Dutch Undersecretary of Home Affairs and Kingdom Relations, Raymond Knops, outlining the importance and willingness of St. Martin's government to sit around the table and dialogue with the Kingdom partners. The Honorable Prime Minister gave a summary of what the letter contained at this morning's virtual Council of Ministers weekly press briefing.
A letter was sent, however, to the State Secretary, Mr. Knops, on Monday, passed after being approved by the Council of Ministers. The letter once again outlined the importance and willingness of St. Martin's government to sit around the table and dialogue with our Kingdom partners and work on an alternative, proposal together that would be beneficial, not just for St. Martin, but for all concerned. In this letter, the different aspects that St. Martin would like to have adjusted were highlighted. So things related to the laws as well as the process that had been followed thus far. Also outlined in this letter was St. Martin's stance on what structure the agreements that are being made should take on. So how we feel the agreement should look, the onderlinge regelingen that we believe are necessary for us to dialogue on and agree on moving forward. While we don't believe that a consensus kingdom law is necessary, we have also proposed changes to the consensus kingdom law that would make it more palatable to the islands and have less of a hold on the autonomy or impact the autonomy of the islands in any way. In such a way, we are now hoping that with this new proposal, we are awaiting the response from the Netherlands and the State Secretary, and hopefully that we can remain optimistic about the Netherlands' willingness to truly assist the island countries within the kingdom by having an open and fair dialogue about a common solution and having a relationship that is based on mutual understanding and respect as we continue to progress in this kingdom.
And still at the virtual Council of Ministers press briefing on Wednesday morning, the Prime Minister of St. Martin fielded a question regarding a solution for reducing COVID-19 cases on the island. A reporter stated that the best way in reducing the cases may be that it should be an island-wide coordinated effort. However, this seems not to be the case. The Prime Minister said that in meetings with both sides with her counterparts, although they have the MOU in terms of having a formal agreement, it is proving to be a bit more difficult. She explains.
What I will say is that you seem to be, I don't know, you have eavesdroppers in our discussions, I don't know. In our meetings last week, both with the collectivité and with the préfet, and on a technical level, it was with that goal in mind, to synchronize as much as possible our response. We do have the MOU, which, you know, enhances the collaboration with the ARS and with the CPS. That is going in terms of contact tracing, etc. But in terms of having a formal agreement, in terms of let us agree on protocols, that is proving to be a bit more difficult based on our different constitutions. It is not the local government that has the purview over health or over the border. We do. So that makes it very, very difficult. At some moments, foreign affairs will have to be involved when we get these discussions that relates to the state and St. Martin government. And we have not had that type of a discussion. What we have asked is, what are the protocols in place? The prefect mentioned that bars are closed at 12 and clubs are closed completely. We have mentioned that we have ramped up our controls and ramped up the protocols, not ramped them up, then ensuring that they are being carried out. And the police has been quite busy over the past couple of weekends to ensure that there is no crowding, that there's a proper social distancing and mask usage in the above mentioned locations. We've also said that bingos, which was causing the larger gatherings in the casinos, are no longer allowed. The casinos would have to go through a strict check by the enforcement teams to ensure, and inspectors to ensure, that there's proper social distancing taking place. And that's being evaluated over like last week and this week for us to decide how we're going to move forward.
And Minister of Justice, the Honorable Anna Richardson, and her support staff visited the prosecutor's office last week, Friday, July the 31st, 2020. During the visit, Minister Richardson met with the entire team of the prosecutor's office. The purpose of the visit was to understand the systems in place and to identify the challenges the office currently faces. A presentation was given to the group on different scenarios in order to understand the process at the prosecutor's office much better. Minister Richardson was also given the opportunity to book a case file and a fine and observe the process for issuing a certificate of good conduct. The implementation of a victim support service is of dire need on St. Martin and has been a priority for Minister Richardson, and in discussions with the prosecutor's office, this has become even more apparent. Minister Richardson stated, oftentimes the focus is on the offender in a pursuit to ensure that justice prevails. However, during the process, the trauma experienced by the victim and their family is not always handled with sufficient compassion and expertise. As such, it is imperative that this service becomes a reality within the very near future for St. Martin. The prosecutor's team thanked Minister Richardson and her staff for taking the time to come to their office and see how their operations are conducted. In the best interest of St. Martin, the minister will work towards improving the operations at the prosecutor's office. Minister Richardson expressed thanks to the prosecutor and her team and expressed her enthusiasm for a good working relationship. Now, turning to our weather forecast for August the 5th, 2020, pockets of moisture at the lower level of the atmosphere may cause a few passing showers. A loose pressure gradient will maintain mostly light winds across the region. Seas will remain slight to moderate during the next few days. So the outlook through Friday midday, fair to partly cloudy with a few passing showers possible. Now let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, Minister of Education gives an update on the opening of schools, which will be on August the 10th, 2020. You'll have the details of that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
Welcome back, viewers. And as we continue now with more news, Minister of Education Dr. Anders Rodolph Samuel reported that the 36 students who will be continuing their tertiary education in the Netherlands left on Tuesday and arrived safely this morning. As in every year, a number of students leave the island to continue their studies abroad. The minister gave a synopsis of the students' trip, as well as an update on the issue of the payment of subsidies to the school boards at this morning's virtual Council of Ministers press briefing.
This morning, I am happy to report that our students left for the Netherlands yesterday in order to further their studies. 36 of them left yesterday. Prior to leaving, all of the students of St. Martin have done a PCR test and were all tested negative. The flight with the students left from St. Martin via Aruba to Amsterdam, and they arrived safely in Amsterdam this morning. On the flight, the students had with them one guidance counselor that traveled with them from St. Martin to the Netherlands. On arriving to the Netherlands, it was really a happy piece of information to receive. We had 3 persons from St. Martin House. We had 20 volunteers and 5 guidance counselors there to receive our students. So together with those 28 persons and the flag of St. Martin, our students were well received in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, now they will stay 2 days in the hotel, and after staying in the hotel, they will all go to the cities where they will live and they will study. So far, I know some of us are, worrying about whether or not they will have to go into quarantine. And thus far, no news about the quarantining. I know that they do have to adhere to the rules and regulations in the city where they're going in regards to the coronavirus. The other issue that I would like to make mention this morning has to do with the payment of subsidies to the school boards. And after learning and hearing that some teachers probably were paid late or haven't been paid, I have asked the Department of Finance to check what has happened in that area, and I can report that the subsidy for the month of July was paid on the 25th of July. We know that some schools that use maybe RBC Bank or Republic Bank would have received their subsidy a day later, but according to the Treasury, all of the school boards have been paid for the month of July.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Education also gave an update this morning at the Council of Ministers virtual weekly press briefing regarding the opening of schools, which will be on August the 10th, 2020.
The opening of schools, as I have reported 2 times before, the opening of schools will continue on Monday because the school vacation has now come to an end. I have sent out a communique indicating that we would start with online learning. And this has to do with the safety of our students first. We do have a situation with the virus on the island, and we do have to take this into consideration. I know that on Monday morning there will be challenges. Most naturally, the new normal for St. Martin is online, is distance learning. And with distance learning, you will have some challenges. Some of the major challenges would be, and we all know for St. Martin, it would be the connection, which is connection of the internet. You can also have issues with data, and you can have issues with, let us say, students that do not have a device. You know that in order to connect with the students, there are different platforms that are being used, and these platforms might not always be very known to the parents, but the teachers would have to start on Monday. And I guess on Monday, we will start ironing out and making the connection with the students. On a normal day, let us say if we were a month or a month and a half ago, we would have started normal. And, you know, at the first day of school, when everyone is at school, you would have things like the schedule, the books, the class, the newness of everything. And now that we have to deal with the new normal on Monday upcoming, where we would start online, the students are not asked to come to the compound. The students are not asked to go to the school building, but the students will get their connections via the school. They will be online, and we will see how this goes. So I can imagine there will be challenges, but we will start on Monday. And
still to come, New Testament Baptist Church organizing a virtual expo. We'll have the details of that story when SXM Daily News returns. And as we end this edition of SXM Daily News for you at this time, the New Testament Baptist Church is currently organizing a virtual expo for the community and to assist their members. Speaking exclusively to our news department, Pastor Nolan Nanton told our news department that the church thought it fit to do something for their members.
We know that persons will be experiencing economic challenges. As a result, we thought it fit that we can do something to assist our members. A lot of our members are doing different things already within the community, so we wanted to highlight their gifts and their talent in terms of those who are cooking, those who are making masks, those who are making juice and so forth. They're actual entrepreneur in the making, and we wanted to come alongside and promote and build and uplift them. Studies have shown that the average quote-unquote small business may last for 3 years, and that's because persons may lack the skill, and also the reason why they enter into it is so that they can meet an immediate need. I believe that for most of them, it ends quite sooner. And a lot of people doubt their abilities, and so we didn't want to have our membership just meeting an immediate need and doubt their ability to become self-sufficient. As a result, we started what we call an entrepreneurial exhibition with the intent to have it literally, but then because of the spike in COVID, we had to go virtual. And so that's what it is about, giving persons a platform where they advertise themselves and the business that they're currently doing so that the public can support. But also so that members, persons within the congregation will know who we have, and they also can support the brethren. Well, we were amazed on the very night that we were having the exhibition. We had 1,000 views. At the conclusion of the exhibition, we had up to 1,000 views on that. So we were actually amazed. But added to that, the comments of persons and so forth was overwhelming. And what we had from a few of the entrepreneurs who were there is that persons are already calling them, which really is fulfilling the objective, is that we want persons to be able to create a clientele, create customers for themselves.
And with that, viewers, brings us to the end of this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening. I am Valerie from Pritton, thanking you for joining me. And just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. Simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the SXM Daily News team, we thank you for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again tomorrow.